Well, recently I found this channel called Scenic that is basically debunking a sword fight between Arya and Brienne in a Game of Thrones episode. So I decided to make this video debunking this debunking video. Hey folks! Welcome to the Asgard's History, and today we are looking at this video from Scenic that I found quite interesting, at least the channel, which they are basically debunking fight scenes at the perspective of a martial artist. Notice that I'm not trying to attack the content creators, I'm just attacking the actual argument that they have made and looking at it from the perspective of a HEMA practitioner. For those of you who don't know, HEMA stands for Historical European Martial Arts. But enough rambling and let's get on with the video.
Here she had the weapon behind her, which looks cool, but it makes it so that I'm in danger, whereas she's not in danger. You never really want that.
As iconography and historical manuscripts can tell us, that isn't true. That is a really big amount of cards that you are not really pointing your weapon at all to your opponent. I understand that that would be the case if you are dealing with knife self-defense, but swords are not big knives. Well, unless you're talking about the Mesa, but that's basically a sword.
To make it even better, I should have my weapon out, and he does it again. Here, there's the cut, there.
You will see throughout the video that he's going to defend a lot the cut to the hand, straight up cut to the hand, forgetting about the reach, but I will go to that a little bit later in the video.
The sword is so small, I would never want it to take a direct hit. It'll either shatter or it'll bend.
I do not believe that a sword would so easily shatter or bend, but I do agree that I do not want to do or try to do a static block to an incoming blow from a longsword if I'm having such a small weapon. It's just not going to work unless I have a really huge, strong cartoon arm or something like that.
What would have made more sense if Brienne came in and she hit the hand?
Once again, the cut to the hand thing.
You don't want weapon-to-weapon combat, because this probably costs you a lot of money.
If we look to the historical manuals, we will also see that isn't true. In fact, quite the opposite. We do want some weapon-to-weapon contact, not only to use the weapon's momentum, to read the opponent's next move, or even to control the weapon.
Even the forearm instead of the hand.
Once more, cut to the hand, and now even further to the forearm. But let's skip it, I'll talk about it in the end of the video.
So these three fingers have an incredible grip.
Here's something that we can both agree. When I'm grabbing my sword, I usually use more these three fingers than these two. Especially if I'm extending my wrist. Using these three fingers allows me to not overextend it. In the other hand, if I'm using more these two fingers or grabbing my sword with a hammer grip, once I'm trying to extend it, my wrist will be in a really weak position, and this can actually lead to very serious injuries. So yes, in my opinion, handshake grip using the bottom three fingers is the best way to go. There is people that will not agree with that, but that's a situation for a debate.
Traditionally, there's a lot of people that wear the metal gauntlet, so they could grasp this.
Well, actually, we know already that you do not need a metal gauntlet to have sword. If you are just properly grabbing your sharpened sword, you are not going to get caught, unless you draw it, of course. But there are already plenty of videos out there showing how to properly grab a sharp sword and do all the techniques with your bare hands. Even in iconography we can see that. There is already a really good video on this subject from Scalagrim. I will link it down below so you can check it out.
At this point she could have used double-handed here, and in fact, stay where you are, Chad, she could have just gone further.
Why do you need to half sword to thrust with the long sword? You can just thrust with the long sword. You don't need to half sword to do that.
No good fighter would ever choose to stay in the blender. One person should always be circling the other.
I completely agree. There is no reason for a fighter to stay in the same place always, but I can excuse the scene because of cinematic reason. It's easier to film if they are not moving at all, but in a real fight, of course, you do want to be moving around unless you want to get killed.
I need to concern myself with the greater strength and length of that weapon.
So here is where I want to get on with the video. He's now acknowledging the reach issue that Arya has against Brienne.
I can simply go here. I can let her know she's in danger.
But you see, only 3 seconds later, he throws it out of the window again. As a small fencer myself, it is really difficult to close in into grappling distance. It is not easy. I cannot even start to imagine with different sized weapons. Even though I'm taller than my opponent in this video, having a smaller weapon makes me actually take a really big step to hit them in the face. So long swords do not work as knives do. Long swords can change their direction pretty quickly. I can just, with the movement of my bottom hand, I can just change this cut into an horizontal cut. I can easily go from here and change it with a false edge cut to the side. Another thing that I see the guy with the long sword doing wrong, he's presenting his hands forward before he goes for the cut. I would never do that. What you should do from this guard in particular would be to throw your blade first in order for you to already be protecting your hands, and then extending your arm so that if they try to get a cut to your hand, they will get stuck in the cross guard. So yeah, I see that I do need to deal with the incoming blow if I do not want to get cut in the process. So what I would do would be to parry that cut, but use the momentum against my opponent while stepping forward and displacing my opponent's incoming blow to the side. And with a smaller weapon, there is a way to do it. Well, once again, I would like to say that I'm not trying to attack the content creators. I am actually a subscriber to their channel, but when it comes to swords, I really feel like I needed to correct what they are saying, because I believe that they were spreading a really big misconception about sword functioning. Nonetheless, you'll have the link to their video down below in the description if you want to see the full scene, and make sure to check out their channel. It's an amazing channel and they look at various scenes from the perspective of martial artists. Hope you found this video entertaining, or at least a little bit informative. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and I'll see you next week.